I wanted this for Christmas because it's a little bit expensive, so but I want to have it in the car. It's really helpful. It says it's containing all of these items, so we're gonna check if it really contains all of these items. So let's open it up and have a look. I'm also gonna supplement it because you know the tape they use when you're taking a blood sample, and they use this tape to keep the cotton down. That kind of tape, I want to have that. I use it for everything. If I get a scrape, like if I scrape myself, I just clean it off, dry it, and then I use this tape over, and it sticks into the wound like an extra layer of skin, and then it dries up, so it breathes and dries up, but it prevents stuff from coming inside the wound into my skin, and then the skin just grows and eventually just falls off when it's healed underneath. I used it on my leg when I got a burn. When I lived in Thailand, I got burned, and I used it, put some aloe vera, I put this on, and then a couple of days later it fell off and it would completely heal underneath, so I have no scarring from that burn. If somebody wonder how I got a burn on my leg, if you've been to Thailand, they have these little choppers, and those exhaust aren't always covered and protected. I was talking to someone and I stepped back and my leg was touching the exhaust, which was hot still. So yeah, I use it for tiny cuts. If I have cuts and stuff on my fingers, I just wrap it around, and like I say, it breathes and it dries up. It's not like a band-aid where it kind of gets wet and then everything gets wet, and it's just, you can wash your hands with it on and stuff. It might look horrible, but it works. So that's something I'm gonna supplement because I use it all the time. So let's see, this is how it looks inside. So you have this one that you fold out, and you have this one that you fold out. We have a little scissor and we have a little pincher. I don't know how good this pincher is. Maybe I want to keep other or more different types of pinchers in here. We have some extra space underneath here. So in here we have for little wounds, in here we have like a cold pack. So if you take this one out, just one cool pack, and then it says how to use it. So we have to be careful that we don't crush it before we're actually going to use it. And I don't know, but probably with a cold pack like this, you probably also need a blanket between. Or can you... No, I think you can just lay it on. Maybe it's not getting as cold as like a frozen bag of peas, because if you have that on a burn wound or something like that, always make sure you have some cloth between so you don't freeze your skin. Okay, and then in this little packet we have some dry swabs and some different plasters for a bandage. And here we have a little user for everything, so that's nice. And in here we have a cleaner and just a gas. So we have 2 cleaners and some gas and some different stuff. That's inside this pocket, and then you have a large pocket that's empty where you can stuff things like if you want cotton, maybe you want some cotton underneath here and stuff like that. We also have one packet in here without anything in it. I mean, you can fill that with what you want. On this side we have the breathing. So we have two. No, this is a heating blanket, and then we have a mouth breather. So this piece, if you have to give mouth to mouth to someone, you take this one out, this little thing that builds out. So when you open their mouth, you put that one inside, and it's gonna keep their mouth open, so you don't have to kind of hold their chin the same way. And you can just breathe in, and it's gonna protect you against, you know, blood and saliva, or if they've thrown up on their, like, puking and stuff like that. In here we have some one-time gloves. I can fill this one up, so I have more gloves just in case. In here we have for large wounds. So we have here how to pack it, how to use it. Then we have here. So we have an extra little thingy here. So if it's a large cut, you might have to apply pressure to close it off. And so in here you have that one. And in here we have odds and like bits and pieces. So you have this little plastic. So in here I can stuff. We have little thick. Oh my god, a little thick picker, what you call it, tweezer. What is this? Oh, these are some safety pins. And then we have some of this, but this is the thing I'm talking about. This is perfect. I want more. And when you buy it, buy the 3M, because the 3M the glue doesn't leave as much residue, because if you buy another brand, the glue might be like, it always leaves this kind of residue that you kind of have to scrub away, but 3M doesn't do that from my experience. We also have a pocket underneath here if we want to stuff anything more inside. So that's how this little safety box looks like. And like I said, I'm gonna fill it up with even more stuff. And I also have a safety, like, first aid cabinet at my place. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I can fit in on the side here, but maybe that's something I do. I add that first aid cabinet to my car. Just make sure that I have everything in case something happens, because you don't want to be stuck and not be able to help. It also say a little bit on how you're gonna do. Well, let's see here. It also gives you like call for help, and then like the number and what to do. So always think safety. If there is a burning car, do you want to run over to the burning car and perhaps it explodes and you die or get hurt too? So always make sure that the area is safe to go in. You can't help anyone if you're hurt yourself. So that's one thing you do. And then you look at the person. Are they conscious? Can you talk to them? Are they not conscious? Okay, are they breathing? Can you find a pulse? I know people look for the pulse here. I have low pulse. That's difficult. It's better to find it here. There is a much better chance of feeling my pulse just in this, not here, but in this kind of nook next to my there. I can feel it really good. So that's the best thing to do if you can't, like, if you're trying to feel it here. Some people don't have a strong pulse in their arms, just saying. And then if there are other people there, give them things to do, because ask them to call 911 or 113 as we do here. or just ask for more help, and then you start to give the necessary need. Maybe they just cut. Is they're breathing, they're talking, they just have a laceration, they bump their head. What should you do? You have to think about breathing before walking. So if there's a person that might have like fracture fracture in their back or neck or something like that, and they stop breathing, you can't think about that neck injury, because if they stop breathing, they're gonna die, or they're gonna have brain damage or stuff like that. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that they breathe. Sometimes it just be that they're on their back and their tongue is falling down into their throat. So what you do is you lift the head, not too much, just a little bit, and then you open the mouth, just to by lifting this, you kind of lift the tongue, you stretch it so it doesn't block. You can try to do like this and it's gonna block. Well, if you do like this, it's easier to breathe, and just if you need to, you can pull the tongue out. Some has a long tongue or thick tongue or something that makes it blocking, and you just open up, check if you can see, and maybe they've been chewing gum, maybe they've been eating something and it got lodged. So make sure to get that one out. And what more? So if they have wounds, clean it up. If there are burns, you have to see if you can do anything. We have the cool pack, you can lay that on. If it's just hot and like sunburn, that's 1st degree. 2nd degree, you start to get blisters. It's gonna be okay. If this arm is blistered, it's gonna be okay. If this part is blistered, or like the larger the area, the more serious it becomes. So but on children it's serious anyway, because they're tiny, they don't take as much. So treat, look at the person, treat whatever you can see. Make sure, are they breathing? Can you feel their pulse before starting resuscitation? Because if you don't, you might hurt someone, and you have to you might push. You have to push so hard. If someone is dead or not, well, if their heart is not beating, they're dead. So you have to push so hard that you start shock their heart back into rhythm or something like that. Or what you do is you help pushing the blood around in the body into the brain, so they don't get brain damage. So that's basically what you're doing when you're doing the heart palpation. You're pushing the blood around the body so their fingers don't start to turn blue and die out, and the brain get enough blood flow and oxygen to actually stay alive until paramedic comes and can somehow help you. And also, if you have other people there, put on the mask and let someone else do the blowing. And maybe you can rotate who is doing the pushing and the blowing, stuff like that, so you're not alone. Just someone has to take responsibility. So if you are feeling like I am not secure, do first aid courses. Just you get the information you need to feel safe, or you can do something in this situation, instead of I'm not gonna do anything because I don't know what to do, and let the person die, but don't rush in and start giving CPR just because you don't know what you're doing, and then you just start giving CPR, and the person might just have sleep apnea. It might be like diabetes, like something has happened that is not stopped. Their heart is still beating. It's just make sure that the person is actually dead before you start giving CPR. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So I wish you luck. One thing I almost forgot to take up when it comes to safety, this one, fire extinguisher. This one. Like, make sure that it is somewhere where you can actually see it. Because I was gonna pull this, pull it out, and then I was like, where is it? I know I had it in the front of the car, and it was underneath the seat, so I couldn't really see it. So I was like, I had to use a little bit of time to like recognize or remember where I put it. So always keep this where you can see it, like in the side pocket of the door or something, like, so when you like are stressed out in a situation, or if you need someone else to get it for you, then it's easy to find. Like, it's in the side pocket of the door, it's in the passenger door, it's stuck to the back of my, like, somewhere where it's easy access. So it's just like, maybe you keep the first aid and this one close together somewhere where it's easy to get to, not underneath the bed, behind everything, so you have to pull everything out to get to it, easy access. Because these things are things you use when there is an emergency. You don't need it, usually you don't need it when everything is calm and nice. You need it when things are going crazy. That's when you need it. So make sure that it's always easy to access. I have a safety class once a year through my job, so I've been doing this for a long time. The one thing that kind of hit me is that I was working in the kindergarten for 4 years. I cannot remember us having any safety ed classes while I was working there. Maybe I wasn't invited, but like 4 years and we never went through anything. Like, that's like the place you really, really should have first aid knowledge, Like, now you're just all bunch of moms, so you should know it from before. I don't know. But anyway, so I hope this is helpful, and I hope you're gonna bring a kit like this in your car, and like I said, add supplies that you know you're gonna use or you use. I'm also gonna put in a little bottle of liquid plastic that I bought actually for the horse. And I also have some like clarifying, like Pericept water. So just add the things you want into this one, and if it becomes too much, I might add that little cabinet I have somewhere in the car, just so I have room for everything. And then this one can be a little bag for something else because it's handy. So if I can't fit all my first aid kit inside this one, then I can use this one for maybe makeup, as a makeup bag or something like that. So reuse. So I have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I see you next time.